Roger.
Morning, Kev.
What's your mission today?
We had an email from a homeowner who had a fountain delivered to a house. Wants our help putting it together.
All right, so for you, it's water features.
That it is.
Sounds good. We'll check back with you later. We also got a lot of emails from folks looking for advice on wood filler. They want to know the best way to fill a nail hole, a crack, or a joint in 2 pieces of wood. So Tommy has brought in a lot of different samples, and it looks like you have got some good tips lined up for us, Tommy.
Yeah, I got a lot of different products to show you how to fill those nail holes, screw holes, cracks, and joints and trim work.
All right, we'll check back in with you later as well.
All right.
Well, good morning. I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to Ask This Old House. We love getting emails from you, whether it's about making your house more beautiful or just fixing some problems around the house. And today, Richard is fixing problems, and I'll tell you what, it is no day at the beach.
A day at the beach. I've got everything I need. Now, the house I want me to work on is not on the beach. It's over there, in the attic. Attic? Beach. Beach. Attic. Sometimes I hate my job. Amy, this isn't half bad.
Richard, you like it?
I really do. This is your classic seaside house.
Oh, thank you. I was told when I bought it, it's called a 4-corner Victorian, and it was built in 1890 by John Stetson, the inventor of the hat.
What? The inventor of the hat?
Well, Richard, the cowboy hat.
Okay. But you wrote me about something in the attic.
Absolutely, I did. So, Richard, this is the reason why I emailed you. I have this beautiful clawfoot bathtub that I'd love to keep, but I want to be able to turn it into a workable shower.
Looks like somebody's been here ahead of me. There's already a PVC shower rod here.
Well, Richard, I just recently made this.
You did?
I did. I'm very handsy, and I tried to come up with a creative solution to create a shower rod. And
all right.
I've used PVC. I've created an angle for additional support.
A little support here. That's
yeah, it's
cool.
all glued together with plumber's glue.
All right, so what's wrong with that?
Well, 2 things. First off, it's just really ugly.
You know, I wasn't going to say anything, but you're right.
Richard, it's ugly. And the second thing is it's not the period that I'm looking for.
You know, it's safe to say that this house, I think, was built in the pre-PVC period.
That's true, Richard.
All right. Well, if we want to get you a decent shower, we're going to need to change out this faucet down here to include one that has an arm that comes up here with a shower head. And we want a good chrome rod. Let me run to the truck. All right, Amy, take that out of here. We might need that later. All right. We have to start by turning the water off, both hot and cold. With these shut-offs, they're right handy. I want to be sure they hold. So I open the faucet. Good. Now we need to break the connections on the back. A couple of nuts on the back, which make the watertight connection. I'm using an open-ended wrench called a crescent wrench. You'll notice that there are no teeth, so I won't mar the finish. All right, so these 2 connections are the watertight connections. There's also 2 nuts which hold the faucet onto the tub itself, called lock nuts. Now I just loosen them. Okay, that faucet goes away. Amy, I have dry fitted together your new tub and shower assembly. What do you think?
Oh, it's gorgeous, Richard.
Look down the bottom and you see the hot and the cold faucets. And you come up to the first choice is the tub filler.
Terrific.
Now the water continues up through this pipe to a T. And you have a choice to go over to a hand shower.
Oh, that's really nice.
Okay? Or it can continue up to a beautiful shower head. Now we just need to disassemble this unit and install your faucet. All right, Amy, a little bit of putty right here on the back side of these escutcheons. I want to make a watertight seal between the faucet and the tub itself. Good. Okay, good. Now, I'm going to put these lock nuts on the back. And as I do, the putty will squeeze out. Okay. All right, that's hand tight on the hot side and on the cold. Okay, now we just need to tighten up our compression nuts. And again, use the crescent wrench. All right, our base faucet is installed, and now we need to assemble the riser. Now that's a series of threaded connections that need to have some Teflon tape applied. So why don't you, right on there, you want to get it, pull it tight now as you go. Whoops. And try to keep it flat, yep. Pull, 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 so it stays tight on the thread, so it sort of goes right in there. I want 3 wraps, at least, okay? Now, I'm going to pull it tight and snap it off. Good. Okay, that's straight. Just press me that riser. Okay. Thread that in. And Amy, there's not an inch to spare up there. Look at how close we are to the ceiling.
It's perfect.
The rise is in place. Now we need to stabilize it to the building. The manufacturer provides us with a wall support that we need to cut the length. And before I do, I want to make sure that this riser is plumb. So I apply a level. Amy, just grab that magic marker and put a mark on that wall support where it intersects the riser. Good. Thank you. To cut the wall support to length, I'm going to use a tubing cutter. Line it up on the mark. Okay. Good. Our wall support ties into the riser with this set screw. I just need to tighten. The manufacturer makes the shower curtain rod to fit a 5-foot tub and a full-height ceiling.
And I have a 5-foot tub, but I don't have a full-height ceiling.
That's right. This roof angle is really crowding us. So the way this goes together is my half of the oval goes up here against this bracket tied onto the riser. Now look how close it is to that roof angle. So what we're going to have to do is modify or cut your half.
That's going to be a tight fit.
Absolutely. And we need to shorten this oval about as much as is possible to fit into that opening. But there's a limit to how small we can make it. And that's determined by where this bend begins. Because there's a straight coupling that has to fit inside the curtain rod. And we can't fit the straight coupling into the curve. And that's about as small as we can make it, and that's where we're going to make the cut. Using a tubing cutter. Now the tubing cutter slightly deformed that pipe, so to bring it back to its original round, I'm going to use a reamer and just expand that pipe to its original shape. Good. All right, we've shortened up our oval, and I've got that connected into this bracket right here that's connected to the riser. Now what I want you to do is to hold that bar up and put it right into this bracket, which I've secured into a roof rafter. Now I'm just going to snug that up. Let me just get the other one. Okay. So we've got it secured in 2 points, and now I have to add one wall support on the back so I can secure it so it doesn't tip. Now there's no structure where I wanted this bracket to be, so I'm using hollow wall sleeves. They just fit into the holes I drilled, expand. All right. Then I would just screw the bracket into those. All right, Amy, your new shower head's in place.
Oh, that's terrific. The shower curtains are done.
All right, time to fire it up. Let's close up the curtain.
Oh, this is exciting.
Your new shower.
Ah, Richard, that's not half bad.
Not half bad. I'm going back to the beach.
And the shower will be waiting for you when you come back.
All right.
Fellas, here's something we don't see every day. It is a homemade, what is it? It's a piece of wood, round, and on the flip side, it has 5 dowels sticking out of it. So, what is it?
Actually, you know what? I think I've seen this before. This is actually a job site grooming tool.
Seen it, but you haven't used it, obviously.
Well, keeping your hair neat, you know. But what's really good about it, say you have to go in and speak to a homeowner. You're outside, it's been raining, it's muddy. You know, your hair is one thing, but it's the boots. You got to get the goop out of the boots.
Oh, yeah, it works
before
really
you-
well.
Purpose tool.
Yeah, you scrape them all off, you get the boots clean, you just touch up one
Whoa,
more
whoa,
time.
whoa, whoa.
You're
After the boots? Tommy, you got a little...
You got to hold it down.
You're good. You're good. No, I think this guy's onto something. You know, this is a very green product. You know, think about what Americans do. Millions of cups of coffee every day. You take that green, harvested, shade-grown coffee, right? And you put it in a paper cup. But you cover it with what? This plastic lid. This thing, what? 18 half-lives before it rots away in the landfill.
What's that, like 9 lives?
I have no, it's a long time. I don't know. But this is a cover. It's made out of babingo wood. Fits under a standard cup, 12 ounce.
Bingo, that's farmed.
Yeah, sustainably. And so now you can carve your name right here, Tommy's little cover right here, whatever you want to call it.
Well, think of the carbon footprint.
We've definitely reduced it. Now, what also happens is it's a cup holder.
Oh,
is
you're
that
sold
cool?
on it right
Is
now.
that
That's
cool?
it. That's golden. I love it.
Richard, I gotta tell you, you are so green, but you're wrong.
I know.
You guys all know who Stuart Little is.
Yeah, that little Minnie Mouse.
Not Minnie Mouse, Stuart Little.
Right, that's what I meant.
All his friends need a place to gather, so they sit around a little table.
It's a table for mice.
Yeah, you've heard of mice at the round table, right?
Get out of here. One's more useless than the other. All right, this one actually comes to us. A viewer sent it in, and it comes to us from Charles in Cross Timbers, Missouri. Now, here's the problem that he was trying to solve. you have a random orbit sander, right? And on the bottom you have the holes, and those line up with your sandpaper because you want to actually have all the sawdust get sucked up. Well, see,
Doesn't line up.
See how hard that is? I mean, you could fuss impossible forever. So we invented this, and you put the sandpaper on there, and that's so much easier. Then you take your Babingo thingy, and you line it up here at the bottom of the random orbit sander. Voila.
Thank you, Charlie.
Pretty good.
A lot of folks write us looking for advice on wood fillers. They want to know what they should use when they're trying to fill a nail hole or a gouge or even a crack in a piece of wood. And it's a good question, Tommy, because there are a lot of options out there. Paintable, stainable, water-based, epoxies. What do we use?
Well, it really depends on whether you're inside the house or outside the house, whether you're going to paint the wood or stain the wood.
All right, well, let's say that we are inside the house and we're going to paint the wood. We've got a piece right here of crown molding. It has not been painted. We've got some nail holes. How do I handle these?
Well, you can use a vinyl spackle right here. You can use a water-based wood filler right here. Just fill the hole, but you always want to overfill the hole so it will shrink down when you sand it.
And the idea here is that because we're going to sand this smooth and then paint it, it's pretty forgiving. And so what we choose isn't that important.
Right. Sometimes what I like to do is I'll actually take a piece of wood like this with some sawdust from the wood, and I'll actually take my glue and fill the void, or the hole, even a nail hole, fill it up.
So in this case, you're going to make your own
I'm
filler?
going to make my own filler. I'll take the sawdust, put it into the wet glue, and mix it around, forcing it into that crack. See, I'm actually making a little paste.
Yep. And then when that sets up?
When that sets up, I'll take my sander and sand it, and that crack will disappear.
Oh, that's a nice tip. All right, now let's say we're going to stain this piece of wood right here. So it's clear now. We want to fill the hole. We want to make sure we get a nice even color.
Right. Well, if you're going to stain it, you want to make sure you have a filler that's stainable. There's a solvent base and a water base. They're both stainable, and they both set up pretty quick.
Okay. Now, if we've got a piece of wood that is already stained, and we want to get a nice color match, and we've got, let's say, a nail hole in this guy.
Right. Well, you can actually use these crayons right here that you skim over the hole. You've got to try to match the color. And you skim over the hole with that, and then you brush it in, and then wipe it off with a rag. Piece of wood over here, you try to find one that'll match the wood. You rub it in, fill the hole, keep filling it right up.
Yep.
And then you rub it with a rag and polish it right off.
You got some of that sawdust left over from your last experiment on here. Okay. And are there putties that we can use in addition to crayons?
Yeah, there's oil-based putties that you can get, and then you actually take a couple of these or 3 of them, whatever it takes, and mix them together until you get the color that you want.
Gotcha. All right, now let's say we've got ourselves a big crack or a gouge. Putty's not going to be sufficient.
Well, if it's inside and you're going to paint the wood, you can use a Bondo. Auto-body filler works great.
Now, why do you say if it's inside?
Because if you use this outside, this becomes very hard, and it doesn't expand and contract with the wood, and it can break away.
So inside the wood doesn't move that much, but outside the wood moves a lot, and filler like a Bondo is no good.
Right. So, in that case, there's a 2-part epoxy right here that's very flexible, and it's meant for wood, and here's a piece right here that we've passed the corner on a shutter. Then you can also use it to fill holes and cracks and voids and make moldings out of it.
Now, you're saying that if this was, say, a Bondo, this would be too hard, so if this wood moved, it would pop that right off or send a big crack through there.
It'll crack, and it'll eventually fall off.
Now, how do we work with this? Does it take a long time to set up? Can we sand it?
This takes a day or 2, depending on the weather, for it to dry, and then you're ready to work with it.
Okay. And we also see a lot of plastic outside now, PVC trim.
PVC trim is great because it holds up to the weather.
Sure.
Here's a couple of screw holes right here. Here's one that I've already filled, and there's one that I'm going to fill. But this is actually a 2-part acrylic that comes in a tube. It actually mixes inside the tube. Sets up very quickly. It's great for an adhesive also.
All right, so you put it in there, and how quickly is it going to set up?
Well, if I put this in here, it's going to be set in 5 minutes. You see it mixing right in the tube there?
Yep, so that's 2 parts coming together into one.
Overfill it. All right. Now, here's one here that I've overfilled. Wait about 15 minutes. Take my sander.
Well, now that's a pretty good color match. You could probably just leave that.
Right. Now, if you paint it, it'll disappear.
It'll look great as well. Thank you, Tommy.
My pleasure.
So, Roger, maybe you can help me. We were down at the garden center and just looking for some plants, but we happened to see this fountain and fell in love with it. So we had it delivered, and they put it here in our driveway, so we're not really sure what to do next.
So how can I help?
Maybe you can help us figure out how to install it.
Well, I can figure out that there's 3 pieces to it.
Yeah, well, this is the base. It sits on the ground, and this rests on top of it, the water basin.
That's where the water gets filled in.
And then this goes inside of that.
Oh, it's pretty on top.
Yeah, it has this beautiful leaf pattern, which is actually why we fell in love with it.
How high does the water come up?
About an inch or 2.
Does it make a nice sound?
It does. It makes a beautiful sound, a nice gurgling sound.
So you have an idea where you want to put it?
I do, just right over here.
Well, let's take a look.
So, Roger, we were thinking about this spot right out back here. We're planning to plant some flowers here, and we thought the fountain would be a nice focal point.
So somewhere in here?
Yeah, right about where you're standing, and we thought it was a great spot because we can enjoy it from the yard as well as from the house.
Now, the most important thing about a water feature is making sure it stays level. If it doesn't stay level, the water won't run right off the top. So the first thing we have to do is create a pad to set it on.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so the first thing I want to do is get the topsoil out.
Okay.
Now, it's going to go right exactly where the rock is.
Yes.
Let's get the rock out of the way. Okay. Now let's take and dig out all the topsoil.
How far down are we going, Roger?
Well, we want to take the topsoil out. We'll probably go down 6 or 8 inches. What we're going to use for the base material is pack. It's 3/4 inch stone and stone dust mixed together, and it'll make a good firm base. Just make it nice and level, no humps. That's nice, Karen. Just get it good and flat. Super. All right, Karen, let me see that rake. It looks good. Now grab that hand tamper behind you. Hop right in there.
Okay.
Whack it. There you go. All the way around. Good clue. Watch out for your toes. Now I want you to take and pack that all the way around, and then we'll put in another layer and bring it up to the grade we need. Karen, for the leveling course, we're going to use stone dust. It doesn't have any rocks in it. It'll be nice and smooth. I'll put one right there. All right. And right now I need one more right here. Yep. And give me a half of one over here.
All right.
All right. Let's just take and smooth that out, tamp it one time, and see how we look.
Okay.
Now, this base is made of cast stone, which is just a fancy word for concrete,
Okay.
so it's heavy. When I lift it up, you pull the card out, and I'll just set it over there in place, all right? You ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Okay, let's get the levels back here and check it.
Okay.
Oh, it looks good that way. You got to come up a little bit here, so give me a little bit more stone dust.
Okay.
Good. Okay. A little bit high. We're good to go.
Great.
Now we're ready for the basin, and this thing is really heavy. So what I want to do is get it up here so that we can just slide it onto our base that we've already put in place.
Okay.
Almost there. Okay, now, very carefully with me.
Okay.
Slide it. Nope, no hands underneath.
Okay.
Never underneath. Always from the top. Slide. Okay. All right, one more twist. Okay, would you go over and grab that cart?
Sure.
When I lift up on this, you take and pull it out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Well, everything's level.
Great.
Now it's time to install the pump. This is the pump that came with the water feature. It would sit here in the bottom, attached to the top piece, and then we would run this plug down through and out and take and plug it into an outlet. Now that means we have to get an electrician here to run the wires underground and give us a plug. Well, today we're going to try something a little different. You want to hand me that pump behind you? We're going to use this pump, only it doesn't work on line voltage. It has its own solar panel. Give me a look right there.
Oh, great.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take and put this in, run the cord out the bottom, and attach it to the solar panel. Now what we have to do is we have to put this plug in, which is going to seal the wire and the hole in the bottom so none of the water can go out, and we need putty to do that with.
Okay.
Now we got to snake the pump line up through the top. So I'm going to take and bring it over. Now, can you get that right up through that? Okay. Going up.
It's going up.
All right, push it up a little bit. Perfect, leave it right there. Watch out. You know, it looks pretty good. I think we're ready for water.
Great.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looks good.
Now, I buried the cord from the pump over to the solar panel. All I have to do now is plug it in, and we'll see how it works.
Okay. Hey, it works.
And it gurgles.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Roger. This is wonderful, and I have all kinds of plans for this bed. It's going to be beautiful.
Who knew a little gurgle could bring so much happiness?
That garden is going to be a feast for the senses. The sight of the beautiful plants, the smell of the flowers, and the sound of the water.
And it was great that you didn't have to run a wire all the way from the house out to that fountain.
Right, because we retrofitted that fountain with a solar panel and pump. Sure. But now you can get fountains that already have the solar panel integrated into them, like this one right here.
Let me bring the sunlight in.
Bring it in.
Yeah, but what do you do on a shady day or a cloudy day? You don't have any water.
You don't, Tom, but they're working on some that will have a battery in them so that they'll store electricity so they can go through those periods when there's no sunlight.
Great.
All right, good tips, Roger. Great show, guys. And until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
I'm Rich Dewey.
I'm Roger Cook.
And I'm Tom Silver.
For Ask This Old House.
So I just carry this light around.
If you have a question about your house or a tip you'd like to share, please let us know. Visit our website, pbs.org, for expert advice, step-by-step videos, and much more. Next time on Ask Us Old House, it's all hands on deck.
This deck is actually made of mahogany. Here's a scrap piece right here. Turn it over where it wasn't exposed to the weather. Look at how beautiful that mahogany is.
Can our deck look like that?
Well, it can, and you can even stain it.